So as many of you guys do know, Ken Carson just released his latest album last Friday, being More Chaos. More Chaos is finally released. A lot of people want to know my first thoughts, my review. I don't really like doing first thoughts. I more so like doing like an in-depth review, give it a couple of listens. It dropped on Friday. Today is Saturday morning at 8:50 a.m. So I've listened to the project, I'd say like probably like 5 times in full. So I know what I like, I know what I dislike, I have my hot takes, I have my opinions. This is gonna be my thoughts on Ken Carson's latest album, More Chaos. So as you guys can see right here, we do have the More Chaos track list pulled up alongside with my notes, right? My notes, my opinions. I kind of like listened to it like 3-4 times and I was like, yo, I like this song, boom, boom, boom. This is what I think, XYZ, right? So I have everything right here alongside the track list pulled up. So this is my thoughts regarding the whole project, right? So overall, out of 10, what do I think? I'm thinking I'm going with a solid 8 out of 10 for More Chaos. I think this is easily a solid, good project from Ken. 8 out of 10. I don't really think or see it going lower than that. I think it's solid. I think Ken Carson delivered, and I think what Ken was going for, I really think he hit that on the nail, right? This is supposed to be more chaos. This is supposed to be more so like AGC on crack, right? I was curious prior to the release of this album, what is More Chaos gonna sound like, right? Because the name speaks volumes, right? But what direction is More Chaos gonna be heading towards, right? Is it gonna be like AGC on crack, AGC on steroids, AGC like a tier above, or is it gonna lean more towards like the deluxe type of route, right? And obviously after hearing the project a couple of times, we know what direction he took. This is like AGC on crack, on SARMs, on trend. I don't know how to describe it, but he took it a higher level, right? So I'm going with a solid 8 out of 10. He did what needed to be done in terms of the name More Chaos. And out of 22 songs, I'm going 19 for 22. Right here, as you guys can see right here, I don't know if my face cam is blocking it, but my misses are Down to Earth. Was not a big fan of Down to Earth. Didn't really like the whole singing thing on there. Naked, it was alright in my opinion. And then Kryptonite, didn't really like that one, right? But other than that, I liked every single song. I thought every single song was solid, and there's some standouts, right? And my standouts, I believe I put in my notes, right? So this is gonna be my top 3 as well, right? So 3, I couldn't decide on a number 3. It's stuck between either Evolution. Evolution is crazy. That beat is nasty, and he was flowing. That was nasty. He caught that. Or 2000, y'all know, players only live once. That was one of my grails, and it definitely lived up to the expectations. And then also regarding like Ken's performance on this project, you could tell like Ken was like rapping. He was not wasting 1 second on a beat. Literally, like to the end and very last second, he was still spitting off bars on every single song. So that was dope. I definitely do think this is Ken's best album to where he's rapping. You could definitely see the growth 1000% from AGC to this in terms of like his rapping performance. So shout out Ken. He was going crazy, catching a lot of flows, a lot of pockets, dropping a lot of quotables and some good bars, right? So shout out Ken, easily his best rapping album, right? So this is my top 3, right? I'm stuck on either Evolution or 2000 for my number 3. Number 2, I'm going Dismantled. That beat is so crazy. Dismantled is so fire. Dismantled is a really good song. And then number 1, K-Ho. I feel like K-Ho has the most quotables on the song. He was just going bar. He was catching it. He said, I've been fighting my intrusive thoughts, I call a demon. He was going stupid on this song, front to back. How long is this song? This song is what, 3:18? Probably the longest song on the album. Yeah, it is the longest song in the album. And it is the best in my opinion. He was going crazy on that. So that's gonna be my top 3, right? We're going Evolution / 2000. Can't really decide on number 3. 2, Dismantled. Number 1, best song on the project. I'm leaning towards K-Ho, right? And then going into this track list, we got 22 songs from Ken, landing at what, 58 minutes. And I think that was perfect. It didn't feel like 58 minutes. It didn't feel like 22 songs just dragged out. I feel like a lot of the songs were pretty short, and I definitely feel like the project was engaging front to back. My only hot take would be that I felt like going into like maybe like 3/4 within the album, I was like, okay, we got another one of these type beats. I can kind of expect. It was almost like slightly predictable as to what the next track was gonna sound like, the type beat and the type of vibe Ken was gonna be on. I was kind of a little bit let down in that aspect. I would have loved to see more like, not diverse beats, because obviously the project is named More Chaos. You know what you're going to expect with this project. But if it was going to be like 21 tracks, right, because there's not really any other like slower or different types of song. He was pretty much giving you energy, for like, I'd say maybe 18 songs straight, which was obviously great from Ken Carson. But I would have loved to see more like diverse type of beats, more like stand out-ish type of beats. Like, I feel like that's what AGC did perfectly, in my opinion. It was under this umbrella type of sound of AGC, like we got what the picture is. But with every song, in my opinion, it made sense in terms of the album A Great Chaos and the sound he was going for. But every single beat had like its own like vibe to it. It was like every beat was stand out compared to More Chaos. In my opinion, I feel like a lot of beats kind of mumbled with each other. Like a lot of songs were like, is this song or is it this song? I couldn't really tell, especially listening to it front to back and like going into it like around the 35 maybe 40-minute mark. I was like, okay, I kind of see what Ken is going for at this point. In my opinion, it should have been a little bit slightly decreased in terms of a track list. I think if it was supposed to be like one type of sound, obviously, right? And then like also like, why am I complaining too? Because this is literally what Ken Carson was going for. The project is literally named More Chaos. So I get both sides of the argument, but I do feel like it should have been reduced slightly. And I do wish more of the beats had like their own different type of vibe, but made sense in terms of the album aspect, right? But I mean, the beats on this project were insane. He was giving you straight crack for like 21 songs. They were insane. Now, I definitely do think, obviously, this is just coming from a listen. I haven't listened to a car yet. This is simply me working out yesterday, headphones, and then at the desktop, right? Obviously, we know what this project is meant to do, right? This is meant to get bloody in the mosh pit, start punching the 175 dudes to do like the spinning windmill kicks and like the insane, I don't know what they be doing in the pits. It's meant for those type of people, right? It's meant for mosh pit. This is gonna go crazy on the tour. This tour is gonna be insane. This tour is going to be insane, especially here in Black Rockstar Live. And then that brings me to all of the beat transitions, right? He did three, I call them like duo type of songs, like a Run Plus Ran, Fight of My Demons type of vibe, right? He gave you three back to back to back. Now I'm wondering if he's gonna play that at the show, because if he gives you three, like, I don't know what they're called, transition songs back to back to back, I know everybody's gonna be gassed. That's gonna be insane. Now I would say, regarding the three duo songs, I would say Diamonds did not need to have that second half, in my opinion. I felt like Diamonds, the first half was very, very strong, but the second half, it was like, why? I feel like the second half of Diamonds was definitely not needed. He should have let Diamond be like its own song and just finish the song front to back, just being Diamonds. I would say my favorite out of like the three like transitional songs is definitely going to be Live Leak. Live Leak is crazy. Then it goes into Vampire. That transition into Vampire is crazy. But I think the crazier transition is Black Rockstar. When that filthy beat kicks in, that beat hits like a prime Ray Lewis, just straight hit stick. Just that beat hit you hard. That was insane. When you heard that filthy tag, you know what's up, right? That beat is crazy. Hearing this live is gonna be nuts. But my favorite transition song is definitely gonna be Live Leak. First half is hard, then he gives you a grill snippet, VMPI, I'm a vampire, right? So that's my favorite out of the three transitions. We went over my top three. We went over like my hot takes slash like my negative thoughts on this project. And then like regarding every single song, like I thought Lord of Chaos was hard, right? I made like some standout songs, right? Lord of Chaos, that intro is crazy. He said, I'm the Lord of the Mosh. He went crazy. Exposed is hard. Money Spread. Now, Money Spread, I would say I got slight snippet syndrome. Now, I'm not going to lie. And when I say snippet syndrome, I'm not like let down by the song. I'm not disappointed. But I thought like the song was going to sound like harder. Like when I was hearing the snippet, me and Mafia were listening to the snippet. We're like, yo, this beat just sounds like evil. This beat sounds like it's straight out of like the pits of hell. Like that whole like ring in the back was insane. I wish it was a little bit louder, but Money Spread is actually probably my top 5. So there's not really much to complain, but I wish the beat was like a little bit more menacing, right? Root of All Evil, it's pretty clean. And then the next song is K-Hole. We already spoke on that. My number 1 song on the project. Then we got Trap Jump. Like I said, this is probably going to be added to my top 5 alongside Money Spread. Trap Jump like Jordan. I know everybody hates on Lil 88, but you cannot lie. Lil 88 x Ken are one of the best duos, right? Lil 88 and Ken go crazy. Lil 88 did his big one. I'm not gonna lie. Trap Jump is hard. Then we already spoke on these 3 songs right here. Dismantled, obviously my number 2 on the project. And then that leads us into 200 Cash, which is a switch up from like the whole type of vibe he's giving you on this project. He kind of more, it kind of reminds me like of a Lil Baby type beat. This gives like heavy ATL, Lil Baby type vibes. But Ken slid on this one, I'm not gonna lie. At first, I wasn't really too crazy on it, and a couple of listens in, I was like, okay, this one is definitely growing on me for sure. Down to Earth, not a fan of it. I'm not a big fan of like the whole singing vibe. I just don't like Ken Carson singing vibes. That's never really been my type of vibe from Ken. I'm not really the biggest fan of when Ken gets into that singing bag. That's really not for me. I think Lone does that exceptionally, but Ken, I'm cool off that. I'm gonna be quite honest. Confetti is hard. Naked wasn't really moved. I feel like, in my opinion, Naked didn't really need to be on the track list. Kind of a hot take. Kryptonite, not really crazy on Kryptonite. Psycho was clean song. Imagine if Psycho and Diamonds transitioned into each other. That would have been dope, and especially a different type of transition instead of like two crazy turn off the wall type songs. That would have been pretty clean. Diamonds into Psycho, maybe just some food for thought. Inferno gave me heavy Opium Baby vibes, especially the way it started. I could have definitely heard Swamp Izzo, some gunshots, a little bit more brain rot on this song. Inferno probably is in my top 5 too, right? So I'm at this point like at a top 7, top 8. I don't really know what songs I want to put in my top 5, but these two are definitely my top 2, and then the rest of the top 5, I don't know, I just got to kind of listen to it. There's a lot of songs that I really like. There's a lot of songs that are really high for me, in my opinion. There's not many songs that are super low. I think every song on this project is solid, but there's some high highs for me, right? So that leads us into Thanks. At first, now Thanks, y'all remember when Thanks leaked, we listened to it on stream. I wasn't really too crazy on it. I was like, it's alright, it's cool, probably never gonna listen to it again. I'm not gonna lie, for some reason, when I was listening to it the day it dropped, it was hard. I really like Thanks. And this, what, 6th song, he went Psycho, Inferno, Thanks, 2000, Evolution, Ghoul. Then you add the Cardi song. That's a crazy 7-track run, in my opinion. And that leads us into 2000. You already know. I was born in 2000. Players only live once. He went crazy. That was my number 1 snippet. Definitely lived up to the hype, right? Evolution is crazy. He was running that front to back. And then Ghoul is going to be the Pierre song. Now, I'm not going to lie, I low-key gassed the snippet a little bit too much. It's definitely a solid song. I like the song, but I'm going to say the snippet's better. I'm not going to lie to you. And then the last song we got to talk about is obviously, you know, the Cardi first ever Opium collab song. Now, I made a whole video about it yesterday. I did like my whole thoughts. Basically, to just kind of like sum it up, I think the song's great. I think the song's cool. I rated it like a solid like 7 in my opinion. I feel like everybody kind of did what they needed to do. But like, why did we get a 2022 song in 2025? We all know they're sitting on thousands of tracks together, right? Ken, Lone, Cardi, they have hundreds of songs together. They could have easily cooked something up for the project, right? Intentionally, right? I don't know why they picked like an old song. Nonetheless, the song is good. Now, when the first dropped, I was like, bro, I was a little bit salty because it was an old song. I wanted to hear something newer. I was ripping this song, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, this sucks. We did not need it. I was like, I'm gonna block this song on Spotify. I will eat my words on that one because this song is definitely growing on me. Do I think this song is like crazy or off the wall or even in my top 5 or 6? No. I think there's way better songs on More Chaos than this, but it's definitely cool to see like the first Opium collab song ever go down. Cardi did his thing, it was cool. Swamp Izzo's on there. Ken did his thing, was cool. Ken and Cardi didn't really impress me too much, but Destroy Lonely did his big one, right? 2022 Destroy Lonely, damn near shed a tear because that is peak Lone, bro. I don't know if he could rap like that in 2025. I'm gonna be honest, bro. That hunger, and I don't know what was it. Just that Lone was so different. And then obviously this was like an all red type of Cardi. And then they added like Swamp Izzo ad-libs on there, which was pretty cool. Beat was great, but I feel like we could have got a way better song than what we received being off the meter, right? So that's pretty much going to be everything in regards to More Chaos. That's going to be my review right here. Pretty much went over every song on the track list, all these standout songs in my opinion, gave my negative aspects in regards to the album, my top 3 or more so like top 3.5, maybe top 4, rating out of 10 out of 22 songs. But overall, I think More Chaos is a great album. It's very solid, and he got Project X, he got X, AGC, More Chaos. I'm going AGC, I'm going Project X, I'm going More Chaos, and then I'm going X. Nonetheless, I will be listening to this project. I enjoyed a lot. Shout out Ken, did his big one. Out of 10, solid 8 out of 10. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. It's MONEYMAY or Zit, and I'm out. Thank you guys.